So how do you make the most out of college?
So I didn't have what some would say would be an outstanding college career. It took me 5 years to get a 4-year degree at Yale. But there were definitely a couple things that I noticed that were pretty interesting. The first thing was that I felt as though college didn't really market itself correctly. It didn't provide any sort of user manual. And I think that a lot of kids went into college with a similar mindset they went into it with high school. In high school, almost everyone who wants to go to a good college is playing the same game. I have to get good GPA, good SATs, do extracurriculars and sports and music and yada, yada, yada. Very similar goals, very similar criteria. College is completely different. In college, based on what you do, you have to use the tool very differently based on what you want to do. And I think the thing that always surprised me is how it took some people a really long time to really figure that out, and how they felt like they were searching for what they had in high school. Like, what's everyone doing? Let me make sure that I do that well, as opposed to thinking, this is the first time I get to choose what I want to do. How do I use college the right way to accomplish my goal? So that was the first thing I was thinking about. But you're in college. What do you think?
I feel like the trend you're describing is actually very common, especially for my school. I would say people come in looking for the next rung on the ladder that they need to fill in. And basically that amounts to whatever the most popular thing to do is, and whatever your smartest friends seem to be doing, you kind of just copy them and try to do it better. And at least in the CS department, it seems like that amounts to getting the internship that everyone wants and then getting the job that everyone wants. Meanwhile, people you might not have even been looking at before will do some crazy, actually interesting thing. And you're like, oh, I didn't even know that's possible.
Yeah, I think that's actually, it's funny because what I was thinking about was that I had two sets of friends in school. I had a set of friends who were actually learning skills that would help them with their career in class. And I had a set of friends who really could only learn skills that would help them with their career outside of class. And I actually think that, like, if I were going to college again and talking to myself through it, I would ask myself that question freshman year. Like, are the life skills that I need going to happen in class or out of class? And because I wasn't technical, I was a poli-sci major, there were almost no life skills I was going to pick up in class. And all of the kind of life skills that I got, kind of leadership and planning and all those things, happened after class, in clubs and that sort of thing, which meant that class wasn't really that important. And I think that it's not obvious to people that it's possible that class shouldn't be important in their college career. And that's not where they're learning the skills they need to pick up. I think the other thing is, I asked a bunch of my friends in their mid to late 30s, what's the one thing they wish they had improved about their college experience? And almost uniformly, they said that we all wished we were braver. We all wished we were more confident, less nervous. We all wish we recognized how special this part of our life was, and how being nervous or unconfident to talk to someone or do something was just not really going to be that useful, because later in life, you don't really have this huge group of people who are all there with not very much to do all around you every day. And so I thought that was the other thing that was interesting, was that I had this like crippling fear to do certain things that now thinking back, there was no cost. There was like, oh, if you asked someone out and they said no, that's like, there's no cost. Like, you skip this or you do that. Like, there's really very little cost. And so, that was the other thing kind of stylistically that I wish I had been better at. Do you see people being brave at school, or?
I feel like that is still the case today, that people are not as brave as they should be. I think actually touched on something I was thinking about as one of the reasons, like one of the great things you should be doing in college. It's that when you're here, you not only have an advantage in being able to execute something and explore something new much quicker than you'll be able to later in life, but the safety net is just continuous. Like there's like when you fail at something, you'll just go back to your dorm room and sleep and then wake up the next day and you can try again. Whereas in the future, with lack of all these safety nets, and I'm talking safety nets both in terms of career angles that you might take, but also like you were mentioning for romantic things, also for social things. Like in the future, I'm seeing some of my friends now who are out here working full-time jobs, and their social life is weekends, potentially commuting to the city that they don't live next to so they can crash with friends and then get right back to work when the week starts up again. You won't really have the same like flexibility of just anytime, any place that people have in college just all the time.